Well, good evening. Welcome to Space Oddities. I'm Andy. If you haven't been here before, you are most welcome. And even if you have been here before, you are most welcome. I'm on my own tonight, temporarily, I think. But anyway, thank you for being with us this evening. We're here for the third attempted launch of Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket, and its mission is to put two NASA satellites on their way to Mars. Now, this is the third attempt. The first attempt on Sunday was scrubbed due to low cumulus cloud, which can generate a lot of electricity, not good for an ascending rocket. The second attempt was actually scrubbed as well because of violent space weather, a solar storm, which, although not harmful to the rocket, it could well have damaged the electronics of the two satellites on board. So that solar storm has subsided now. I don't know whether anybody saw any aurorae last night, but there have been photographs flooding in from surprisingly low latitudes of the aurorae last night. And here in Spain, we were well out of the range of the aurorae, unfortunately. But if you have got any photos of the aurorae that you would wish to share with us, why don't you send them into the Space Oddities gallery, which we do on a Tuesday during our live stream, and just attach them to an email and mail them to gallery@spaceoddities.space. And as well as appearing on our Tuesday live stream, you get your own little gallery on the Space Oddities website, which is https://spaceoddities.space. So anyway, we're looking at now just over 25 minutes before launch. So I think what I'd like to do is just have a look at the actual mission itself, these vitally important NASA probes to Mars. And let's have a look at where they're going and what the actual mission is, because this is a very important mission for understanding the Martian magnetosphere and its interaction with the solar wind. I see Daz is just coming in now. Evening, Daz. Nothing from Daz. Okay, so let's just have a look at the mission itself this evening. A lot of attention, of course, will be on the rocket itself. This is only the second flight of Blue Origin's New Glenn launcher. So let's just have a look at the mission this evening itself. These two important NASA satellites, as I said, and they're called Escapade. Now, Escapade stands for Escape and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamics Explorers. Yet again, another tortured acronym from NASA, but they represent a groundbreaking first in planetary science. It's a dual satellite mission to Mars, launching on the 9th of November 2025 originally, and now several days later, here we are aboard the New Glenn. They are two identical Martian orbiters, affectionately nicknamed Blue and Gold, and they're going to fly in formation around the red planet, providing an unprecedented three-dimensional stereo view of Mars' magnetosphere and atmospheric interactions. Now, this mission is led by UC Berkeley's Space Sciences Laboratory, and it pioneers a new era of low-cost planetary exploration, demonstrating how cutting-edge technology and innovative mission design can unlock profound scientific discoveries about our celestial neighbor. And the interlinked science objectives will help us understand not only Mars' past climate and habitability, but also provide insights into atmospheric evolution on rocky planets throughout the universe. The scientific goals, first of all, to understand Mars' unique magnetic environment and how it guides charged particle flows around the planet's surface and into space. Investigate how energy and momentum from the solar wind are transported through Mars' magnetosphere and atmosphere, and to reveal the processes controlling the flow of energy and matter escaping Mars' atmosphere, explaining how the planet lost most of its air over billions of years. And of course, this has always been one of the great mysteries about Mars. How exactly did it lose its atmosphere? How did it go from being a warm, wet planet to a cold desert planet? And that process did happen over billions of years, and we'd like to understand exactly what happened to the Martian atmosphere. Now, all of these interlinked scientific objectives will help us understand not only Mars' past, but it will provide us with a lot of clues about the how planets develop over long periods of time. So let's have a look at the instruments on board. Well, the twin orbiters carry 3 sophisticated instrument packages working in concert to capture simultaneous complementary measurements of Mars' dynamic near-space environment. First of all, the EMAG magnetometer. This is to measure magnetic field strength and orientation with exceptional precision, mapping Mars' patchy crustal magnetic bubbles and revealing their interaction with the solar wind. Then we have the ESA electrostatic analyzers. Now, these are going to detect charged particles escaping from Mars' atmosphere, determining their energy and direction to distinguish between different atmospheric loss mechanisms, because there are, in fact, several different explanations for the reasons why Mars lost its atmosphere and when it lost its atmosphere. And these will help distinguish between those explanations. And then we have the ELP Langmuir probe suite, which is to monitor solar wind plasma and ionospheric conditions in real time, providing crucial data on Mars' space weather environment and its variability. Together, these instruments enable Escapade to capture Mars' magnetospheric dynamics like never before, revealing how the red planet interacts with the space environment surrounding it. Now, one remarkable thing about this mission is that these spacecraft are being sent on a totally new trajectory. And what they're going to be sent on, they're going to be sent out to Lagrange point 2, which is nearly 1 million miles from the Earth, away from the Sun. And they're going to sit there for about a year, studying space weather, until late 26, when the Mars window opens again. Then they'll return to the Earth and get a gravity assist from the Earth to go on to Mars. Now, this has never been attempted before, but what it does mean is, as we know, the optimum Martian launch window, the point when the 2 planets are at their closest, so that travel time between the 2 planets is at its shortest. This occurs about once every 26 months. So the idea is you could actually launch spacecraft to L2, which is gravitationally stable, and they don't have to expend much fuel in maintaining their position, and sort of queue them up at L2, and then when the planets are moving closer together, send them onto Mars. So it's a new idea for spacecraft trajectories. And let me just show you the graphic for that, very simple graphic. So today the 2 spacecraft are launching out to L2, and then they will return to the Earth, swing around the Earth, and then get sent out to Mars. Now, the transit time between Earth and Mars for this mission is actually quite a long one. It's going to take 11 months for these spacecraft to get to Mars after they return to the Earth. And this is because these are low-cost satellite missions, or orbiter missions, if you like, and they have actually quite weak thrusters. So although the sort of the minimum amount of time it could take for a spacecraft to go between Earth and Mars is about 6 months, in this case it's going to be 11 months, because these spacecraft will not be traveling incredibly fast, because they have low cost and low power thrusters. But they will get there in 2027 and start their stereo observations of the Martian magnetosphere. So that's the mission for today, to send these spacecraft on their merry way out to L2, and there we are. So let me just say hi to Daz. How are you, Daz?
Hi, can you hear me?
Very, very faintly.
Very faintly.
Yeah, your volume's a bit low. Hang on, I'll just put it up here a bit.
Right, okay then. Thank you.
Anyway, let's go back. No, it's still very low.
Let me just see if I can do something here. I don't think I can, actually.
No.
Maybe you just
Okay, well, I'm just going to go back to NASA spaceflight now. And let's see how the launch is, or the countdown at least, is progressing. So we're now looking at 16 minutes before launch. Everything seems to be progressing fine. And the weather today looks a lot better than it did earlier in the week, because I said, well, there were these the low cumulus clouds. There was rain on Sunday, then the low clouds, which forced the mission to be scrubbed because of the electrical danger from cumulus clouds. And it's looking a lot clearer today. So let me just have a look here, Daz, and see whether I can help you at all.
You hear me now?
Oh, that's better. That's got it. That's it.
I'm wrong microphone. I do apologize. No, what it is I do apologise. I did apologise to everybody. I'll be changing my name as well. Can't have
Yeah. No, you can stay as Andy if you want to. That's absolutely no problem.
Well, no, because I'm the good-looking one. See, so
right,
no,
right.
I do apologise. I installed some new security software, and it decided to kick me out of all my apps, and I've had to log into everything all again. So that's why I was a tad late. But yes, the weather does look a lot better today.
Yeah, it does.
I think we got to talk about the last attempt. Have we got time? Yeah, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
The last attempt, the launch was scrubbed hours before they even started to look at it, and this was due to solar storms.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody's probably realised that we've had some big solar storms happening, and basically,
yes,
when you launch these things, you've got all your computers and you've got all your electronics going up in this thing, and everything's got to happen on time. It's got to run smoothly. Now, if it entered into a radiation storm, this will attack the software, the hardware, and what it could do is it could force certain actions to go into safe mode.
Yeah.
And then they would reboot themselves automatically. But in that split second, which this would all happen under, it would completely throw the launch out of sequence. So this is why they were erring on the side of caution. I mean, there was a question I had the other day that somebody was speaking to me saying about when we launch these things, basically when we launch, because all these satellites and all that are years and years in planning, and Escapade's been sitting around for ages waiting to be launched. And they say, well, when they launch, could they use the extra time because of the delay to change the electronics and update them? Well, the truth be told is a lot of engineers err on caution, and they actually use older state electronics.
Oh, really?
Because they're tried and tested, and usually they're more resilient to solar flares because the chips are thicker. And the actual, like I said, it's been tried and tested already in space, so they will actually install older type electronics on them.
Yeah.
So there's that side of it. Yes, it would be nice to upgrade cameras and all that, but the thing is, it's just too much hassle. If you've got a rocket assembled somewhere, then and then you want to take it down and start putting more cameras and things like that, or changing cameras. You've then got to go back and re-establish everything and start from beginning, to be quite honest. But but that's why they cancelled it, is because of the solar storms we've had in the last few days.
Yeah.
I think they took. We were expecting them, but I think the actual strength of these storms took everyone by surprise. And again, it goes back to what we said before: we cannot predict solar storms. We can't predict weather on the Earth, so we've got no chance with solar storms. But but everything looks as though it's better. I mean, it's not totally blue.
No, but it's a lot better than it was.
Yeah, there's none of those big black clouds, and also the wind seems to be a little bit lower as well, because the stack, you can see it's not actually blowing completely sideways.
No, absolutely.
So
One
the,
thing
the,
that I'm looking forward to seeing this evening is Blue Origin's second attempt to land the first stage back on a barge in the ocean. Now, of course, SpaceX have perfected this, but it did take SpaceX quite a few attempts to get that right. The first attempt in January on the maiden flight of the New Glenn, that failed when the engines of the booster failed to relight on the way down, and it just smashed into the ocean. And this time, we hope that they have perfected that, and that they have a safe landing on the drone ship, which is called Jacqueline, named after Jeff Bezos' mother. So we're looking forward to a SpaceX style ocean landing this evening, and that should be quite interesting. But to give Blue Origin, cut them some slack, it may take them several attempts to get this right, because it did. There's actually a compilation video on YouTube of all the crashes that SpaceX had of their Falcon 9 trying to land it autonomously on a drone ship. So, let's see what happens with this one. It won't be a major disaster if it doesn't work, but we hope it does, obviously.
Well, of course we do. We said this before on the other stream. Regardless of what you think of Blue Origin's, SpaceX, or anyone, we just want these rockets to work.
Absolutely.
The more rockets we've got and the more capability we got, the more we're going to be able to do.
Well, also it does. The more competition, the better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, competition forces prices down.
Yes, absolutely.
Although the Jacqueline's actually, I see in the cut out there.
Oh yes, there's Jacqueline.
Yeah, it's in the insert. So yeah, that's It looks a little bit tidier than the SpaceX ones, doesn't it? It looks, mind you, it hasn't had anything land on it yet. So
No, exactly.
Hasn't been scorched yet.
No.
So
No.
yeah, it's it looks like they've actually got cameras not far off, so that could be some good views.
That should, absolutely.
If SpaceX release them.
No, I think that's a still image rather than video.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not moving, so that's like a still image. Anyway, not to worry. We're now looking at just over 9 minutes before launch, and things appear to be progressing well. And we will keep our eye on things just to make sure that everything's still happening, and we will let you know. But I mean, the important thing for this evening, there'll be a lot of attention on the New Glenn rocket, as it's only its second flight. Blue Origin have to demonstrate that they have a viable, reusable launch system in the New Glenn that will be able to compete. They need their military certifications, of course, to enable them to carry out missions for the US Space Force. And that's quite a exacting process, because the military won't give them approval unless they are convinced that the New Glenn system works. So a lot resting on New Glenn tonight, but I just want to see those spacecraft on their way to L2 first of all, and then to Mars in a year, because the thought that we might finally get to learn a lot more about why Mars lost its atmosphere is quite exciting, because there's still a lot we don't know about that, as I was saying earlier. So we're looking at just under 8 minutes now.
Yeah, so fingers crossed that everything's going well. The rocket, I should think, is probably fueled.
Yeah.
If not, it's very, very close now. Of course, unlike SpaceX, this rocket, I can't remember what it's using as fuel. Can you remember, Andy? Basically, it's not going to have the problems with boil off as much as SpaceX does. So this rocket can sit there for quite a while without losing too much in the way of fuel. So
that's
we
right.
haven't got to worry about that. So that they usually fuel it earlier than what SpaceX do, because it can sit there for a while.
Yeah. Just let me say hello to some people. Hello, John Walton. Or should I be saying good night, John Boy? Sorry. Hi, Andy. Hi, Deep Burrito. Good of you to be here all. I think Sandra was here. Sandra, yes,
Yeah,
Sandra's
Sandra's here.
Yeah.
We've got, like you said, John Walton, Barry F.
Yeah, Barry's here. Yes, hi.
Uh,
So yeah, thank you all for being here. And we're just entering the towards the final stages of the countdown. But there we are. Yeah, wet in Wales, Sandra. I don't believe it, as if that could ever happen. I spent 2 Christmases ago, Sandra. I spent with my family in Wales, in Pembrokeshire, and we were there for 9 days, and it rained every single day intensely without stopping, except for one morning when we could venture out of the house. But we essentially had 9 days of incessant, intense rain. So there we
I
are.
don't think there'll be anybody venturing out in Wales tomorrow.
No.
We've got, is it Storm Claudia coming in?
Is it Claudia? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going to be it was actually named by the Spanish Met
Yeah.
Office.
Yeah.
It hit the Canary Islands early this morning, but they've just got a clip. Well, Lanzarote did, I think. Maybe Tenerife and places like that got a little bit more. I see Paul.
Paul Schrump's here.
Paul
Hello, Paul.
Scrum's just joined us. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah. Andy Cowley says, "Do we think it will go bang or take off?"
I'll go bag.
I'll go bang.
Go bag.
Whichever's easiest, really.
Yeah.
I think it will launch.
Yeah.
I
honestly think it will.
I think they will get it off the ground. I think, the main question. Well, obviously, there are some important checkpoints during the ascent. First stage cutoff, second stage engine start, all of that stuff. But I'm particularly worried about the who was it said that was it Deep Burrito said can't wait to slice through the deck of the drone ship. So yeah. So anyway, we will see. We're now just over 4.5 minutes from liftoff. We'll switch over to NASA Spaceflight, who we're with this evening, in a couple of minutes, just for the final stages of the countdown.
Barry F did point out the question. It says Mars was hit by a big asteroid, which may have contributed to its de-atmospherization, atmospherization, and created the Helios basin. Well, yes, of course, it could have done. But the problem with one of the main problems with Mars is that its core's solidified. Solidified. Which then basically meant it lost its atmosphere, and left it open to space weather again. And this again is what these satellites are going to be looking at. But I was looking at another story this week that I saw that they think that possibly meteorites some planets that have had their atmosphere stripped could have their atmospheres established by meteorite strikes.
Yeah.
Which could be an interesting thing. So it's an interesting. It's a subject that's got to be looked at, especially if we're going to colonize Mars at any time. So
yes, definitely.
All right, we're down to 2 minutes.
We've got some people watching. Yes, I mean, I think that the general consensus, Barry, is that the atmospheric loss did happen over a few billion years. It wasn't a sudden thing. Whether any impacts contributed to that, well, I'm sure that Escapade is going to shed a lot more light on the atmospheric loss process. So there we are. Okay,
Andy, there's a contradiction on your clocks on yours, because it says T minus 2 minutes 25, but your big clock at the top there saying 20. Oh no, that's our countdown clock. Sorry, I've done it again.
What
I
are
do.
you talking about, Daz?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just I was looking at mine, and the clock's just that sits right over where the clock is.
Ah,
The count, our countdown clock.
all
So
right.
what for?
Let me just get
Well,
these windows set
yeah.
up. Right, we're going to go over now to the last minute and 3/4 of the launch with the NASA space flight. So let's hope that this actually works.
Yes, finger crossed.
Sounds like we've got the field microphones turned on as well. 90 seconds to go until the opening of the window. Blue Origin confirmed. New Glenn 2 is in terminal count. The vehicle will be taking control in just about 45 seconds time.
Rocket on internal power?
Yep, the vehicle is now on internal power. And the next thing to note will be the water deluge system turning on at T-minus 30 seconds. So that is the next event we will see, because Alex, they actually run that deluge system under 1 minute now for quite some time. They run it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, they like to keep it on for a little while to be able to run it. But yeah, that's one of the things as well that I'm seeing. The tank vents are off, so that means they are pressurizing the tanks for flights. Everything is getting ready for that launch, hopefully in 40 seconds from now.
Standing by for that 30-second gate.
Exciting stuff.
Which is when we should see the
Certainly
deluge
is.
system starting up and autopilot being enabled on New Glenn. Remember, the Blue Origin feed is a little bit delayed, but we should be seeing the deluge spooling up. Under 20 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And I can confirm that deluge has been spooling up. 5 seconds from engine ignition of the 7 BE4s.
Looks like we have a hold.
Oh.
All right, as we've seen here, our team has decided to go into a hold at T-minus 20 seconds.
Yep, so we are in a hold as it stands, and we will stand by for a new T0 time from Blue Origin.
Here we go again. Here we go again.
Remember, they have a big window, 90-odd minute window.
Auto safing complete.
Which they can launch in. So just a little bit of a brief pause.
Yeah, plenty of time, folks. Plenty of time.
Yeah, it's the worst time for the heart rate.
Thank you again, everybody, if you're just joining us. We are awaiting here NG2, the second mission of New Glenn. We are T-minus 20 seconds. Our team has decided to enter a hold here. We've said it on other webcasts before.
Yeah, so Blue Origin just confirming that we are holding at T-minus 20 seconds. And we will stand by to see if that can be resolved. If this is going to be a quick resolution, or if they're going to roll back the clock to an earlier point. Because, of course, the T-minus clock is a milestone, as we can see live views of Escapade inside the payload fairing. The T-minus clock is an event-based clock, which...
Well, we're on a hold at the moment.
Yeah, lovely view of the Escapade there.
Yeah, there we are. There are the two Escapades.
But they look like there'd be quite a bit of space in that fairing, couldn't
Well,
they?
they're actually quite small satellites.
Yeah.
They're actually, they've been done by UC Berkeley on a shoestring, these satellites, and they're actually quite cheap and quite small. So we'll see. Well, I mean, I hope this happens in the end. Just waiting a new.
I mean, we were talking the other night about problematic rockets, and we were talking about the SLS. And I was thinking, because you mentioned, as you said, it's cost $2 million to launch an SLS.
2 billion.
2 billion, sorry.
Yeah.
What's a few million between each friend?
Yeah.
2 billion. Sorry, my bad. And I was thinking, those figures you were quoting are about 2 or 3 years old now.
Yes.
Because that was from the last Office of Inspector General report we had. And of course, to actually launch the whole thing, to do the whole thing, it's 4.5 billion to launch an SLS. The 2.1, I think it is, that you were talking about, is just for the rocket.
Yes,
But then when you take into account, you've got the Orion spacecraft, you've also got all the ground facilities, all the maintenance, the tower maintenance, and getting the all preparations. It costs up to 4.5 billion. And that's a lot of money. So I'm wondering now, I mean, like I said, that's years old. So I'm wondering how much, with correction, how much it would actually cost to launch one of these the SLS now. And of course, by the time we get to Artemis 3, they've got to completely have a new tower.
yes, that's right.
Because the SLS will be taller because it'll have an extra stage. So the tower that they've built now, which is actually from what was the name of the rockets they were doing with
Oh yeah, wasn't it originally from the Orion constellation?
Yeah, well, it was from was it Orion, which was the moon shot before, and then they cancelled that, and then they went to Artemis.
Yeah, the constellation program.
Yeah, and
which Barack Obama cancelled in 2009.
Yeah, and they then went with the SLS, but they said all they did was adapt the tower that they built for that, and as a result, when they launched the first SLS, not other than blowing the bloody doors off the lift and everything, if you remember,
Yes.
it was actually the tower was tilted and twisted because they'd had to butcher it so much and basically make it more robust that it was like I said, it had a lean on it and it was twisted.
And with all that experience with the launch tower, when they put the business of building the new launch tower out to tender, they chose a company that had no experience in heavy engineering. Basically, the tender was for the contract was worth $600 million, and the projected final cost of the new launch tower is over $2 billion.
Yeah.
So yet again, private companies fleecing the American taxpayer. But that's another long story. Anyway, so we've got people on the beach looking rather bored as we await the new launch time of New Glenn this evening. And if you have any questions, viewers, as always, don't hesitate to put them in the comments, and we'll see what happens. So this will be the fourth time that we've tried to cover this launch. The videos might be a collectible set one day of 15 videos, all trying to cover the launch of New Glenn. And the Deep Burrito says, "Oops, forgot the fuel this time." So somebody go and get the fuel. Oh, it's in that jerry can out the back. So
it's either that or they forgot to get the gap right on the spark plug.
Exactly.
So,
one thing to look out for, which will not be easy to see during this daylight, but which we did see on the first launch, which was in darkness, is the beautiful blue flame from the methane fuel, which was really pretty on the first launch back in January. And that's something to watch out for. Like SpaceX, Blue Origin are using methane as fuel, and obviously.
Oh, is it? I thought it was something. Oh, okay, then fair enough.
Yeah, and obviously liquid oxygen is the oxidant. So 45th times the charm, says the Deep Burrito. Absolutely, yes. But we'll be here for all of them. Don't you worry about that. We will bring this to you one way or the other. So so there we are.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, to take us all that close to the launch and then put it on hold.
Yeah.
That was them really teasing us.
Yeah.
I mean, are we sure this isn't the mock-up and there isn't actually anything in it? You don't know, do you?
Well, there we are. Let me just pick up on something that that Paul said. I'll find it. There we are. I heard that because it has a weak magnetic field, the solar wind constantly strips off the atmosphere of Mars. Well, actually, Paul, Mars does not have a global magnetic field at all. There are patches of magnetism, but it does not have a global magnetic field at all. Did it have one in the past? Well, this is partly what the Escapade mission is all about, finding out the sort of the history of the magnetic field. But you're absolutely right. The solar wind is constantly stripping the atmosphere away from Mars, very slowly, of course, but over long periods it matters. So there we are. Go New Glenn at NASA space flight. Brackets eventually. So or go somewhere else. So there we are. So nothing. I'm a bit worried about this now because if it were a programmed hold, that is rarely a problem. It's just a final systems check when they put it on hold 20-30 seconds before the launch. This hold is persisting for a while, so I have my suspicions that they may have problems and won't launch today. But don't go away, viewers. Stay with us until we get a definitive answer, and we'll tell you what's going on. So
it is. I mean, going back to the Mars thing, like you say, the magnetism is very, very patchy and in different areas.
Yeah.
And my thinking is, I could be right, I could be wrong, is that it's basically where there's probably a big density of iron, which has retained the magnetism from when it did have a magnetic field surrounding it. Because I think because if they've had volcanism, it did have a molten core at some time, so there was a good chance that it did have the dynamo effect like we have on Earth. It's just, I think originally it did have a molten core, it had a dynamo effect, and if it did have water and things like that on there must have been some sort of magnetic field, which is just dissipated now because the core has gone solid. But the patchiness I think it's just massive chunks of iron, where the magnetism's just been accumulated. So it's like just a giant magnetic plates.
The Deep Burrito says RP1 SpaceX, kerosene and oxygen. That's quite correct for SpaceX. The New Glenn uses, as I said, methane oxygen for the first stage, but hydrogen for the second stage. I don't know why they went with that, because as we all know, hydrogen is exceptionally difficult to work with, because it's the universe's smallest molecule and it can leak from incredibly tiny holes.
Well, if you remember, they with the SLS on the first launch, wasn't it? Somebody hadn't tightened a valve, so they sent out the red team, 3 little dudes with hard hats on.
Very brave men.
Yeah, those very brave men, and they went in with a big sort of like spanner and just tightened it up. Just don't hit it with a hammer because that'll cause sparks. And of course, above them was this massive rocket fueled and waiting to go. And like you said, hydrogen is such a small molecule. It'll find the slightest
tiny hole to get through.
Yeah, and it's gone.
Right, let's pick up on what Barry just said. Titan has a thicker atmosphere than Earth and no magnetic field, but only 1% of the solar wind. Absolutely, Barry. And we hope you'll join us on Space Oddities for our Tuesday live stream next Tuesday, because we are doing sort of a special edition about Titan, because we've got Dr. Lou Mayo as one of our numbers, you may know. And Lou is a planetary scientist worked for NASA, and his speciality was Titan. And Lou knows just about everything there is to know about Titan. So we hope you'll join us on Tuesday when we're going to be telling you all about Titan, which is as we were saying the other night, it's perhaps one of the most intriguing, mysterious worlds of the solar system. But anyway, Titan on Tuesday.
Of course. Of course, with the thicker atmosphere, and that's probably why it's heavier. It's
Yes.
not probably so easy to strip because it's methane, isn't it?
No, nitrogen.
Nitrogen, sorry.
Yeah.
So it probably makes it yeah, because it's got methane lakes, sorry, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, methane lakes. Which, of course, when it's stormy, the waves are only 1 millimeter high.
Yeah.
So no surfing on Titan.
No surfing on Titan. No, that was a
Yeah,
bit
so
of a...
that's probably one of the reasons. Like you say, also it's got very much reduced solar wind, but it's a heavier atmosphere.
And I was also disappointed to see that there's no plan with the Dragonfly mission, which launches to Titan in a few years. There's no plan for that to go anywhere near the lakes on Titan, so we're not even going to get to see them. So, which is a real shame. Real shame. I really wanted to see those ethane / methane lakes on Titan. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, so join us on Tuesday, and we'll tell you everything we possibly can about Titan. So
in Barry also says skiing is good on Titan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the thing is, you get I'm trying to think what it's called. It's we get it occasionally on Earth. It's an ice that is so hard. It goes beyond sort of like the normal ice stage to where it goes to an ice that is like concrete.
Yeah, it's Ice 5. It's called.
Yeah, but there's a sort of like a bog standard name for it, and I can't. But yeah, it's but so yeah, the ice there is very, very hard, but you wouldn't want to fall down on it because that is solid.
Well, if you think about it, the Pluto has these huge mountains made out of water ice that are harder than steel. So I do wish that we had another mission on its way to Pluto, because the images of Pluto were just so haunting and so mysterious and so beautiful, and the science was amazing. So there we are. So we're still waiting. Oh, hang on. 32 minutes. I was just about to say we're still waiting. So the revised launch time is in 32 minutes and 36 seconds and counting. That's a little worrying. So
because if they got the 90-minute window, was it 90 minutes window?
Yes, I think it's 90 minutes.
So we've already lost. If we got another half hour to go,
yeah,
we're bitten into that quite a lot then, really.
Right. So can I just share what Paul's just said? On Blue Sky, Space Policy Online says Blue Origin commentator said they're investigating and expect to reset the clock, which they have now done.
Yeah, we have done that.
So there we are. And just when things are going really bad, hello, Michael.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay.
Good. Thank you for joining us.
I understand it's scrubbed.
No, it's not scrubbed. It's just delayed at the moment. They have a problem they're investigating. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be, well, maybe they've still got quite a lot of the launch window left. So 32 minutes to more disappointments.
I decided not to go out in the end.
So I suggest what we do, guys, rather than talk the audience, talk our viewers to death, we'll take a break to get some coffee, which I'm sure we could do with. And we will keep an eye on things, but we will come back in about 15 minutes before launch. In the meantime, we will leave you with a NASA space flight to watch and listen to. So we'll see you back here in about 15 minutes. Okay? And thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate your company. And we love your company. So there we are. All right, then see you in 15 minutes.
Rocket, or even bigger. I mean, that thing is nearly the size of orbital rockets, and it's literally just for transporting the water down the tower out to the pad. It's huge. And we have gotten some images from Julia Bergeron, one of our field team, who is, of course, out in person. Alex, actually, you just said
Blue. Yeah, Blue confirms that T0 of 3:45 p.m. Eastern, 20:45 UTC. So we are indeed on track for that new T0.
Okay, thank you very much. And these pictures
Yeah,
from
that
Julia
does.
Bergeron out in the field. We've got some people patiently waiting along, I think this is at Jetty Park. And,
How you doing, Mike?
Lots of people
All right.
patiently waiting. Hopefully
Just
they don't
hit
go home.
2045,
We're not going home
so
because
you
we've got a
tease it
launch
back.
attempt in 29 minutes and 50 seconds time. So you
Yep,
better...
and that is the park part of Jetty Park. Of course, is the jetty itself, which goes out, which is where our team is located with the cameras that you've been seeing, and then it continues back on towards land. There's a bunch of fishing areas, parking, that area. So that's kind of where you're seeing these people here too. So a long line of people.
We've got a bird as well on Fleet Cam who is very interested in our live coverage. Yep, you're on stream, mate. Now you can get out of the way. Thank you very much. Seems to be photobombing.
Wildlife show as well.
That's so funny.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, but we've gotten another $100 super chat from Patrick Bob. I don't even know what to say anymore because, like, seriously, there is nothing I can do to thank you for that. That is what, over $200 now in support from Patrick Bob this stream, and they say they're just supporting an awesome channel. I mean, thank you so much. Honestly, that's all I can say. Thank you so much. We couldn't go down to T-minus 20 seconds and hold without the support. Like, seriously, yeah. Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say, because I know I am a broken record at this point, but yeah, seriously.
I mean, the only reason we're able to be out here, have the entire Cape team out in full force with all the cameras is because of support from people monetarily, people who join as members, people who get something from the shop. It really allows us to provide you what we have. I mean, just look at the members multi-view, how many different cameras there are set up for this launch. We love doing this. There's nowhere else we'd rather be, and the fact that we're able to come out and bring it to you means a lot.
And we've also gotten some other support as well from Aiken Hart becoming a Padrat member, Erasmus becoming a Red Team member, Space Beto with the $9.99 super chat saying thank you, and a shout out to your brother, Caleb Kelly. Yeah, cool rocket indeed. Very beautiful rocket. And Robert Morris with a $10 super chat saying thank you for your excellent coverage and commentary. Go Blue Origin. Yes, fingers crossed they go in 27 minutes and 30 seconds time. And Martin, a very on-point question. They're asking how many in-person hours is involved in a big launch coverage. Well, there's, what I'd say is probably about 10 or so, maybe times 2 launch attempts. So it's got to be well over 100
10?
person hours.
More than 10.
More than 10? Well, there's 5 people in the field.
Just between the people commentating here, it's probably like 15.
Right, because there's the 2 studio, then there's the 5 of us out in the field, and again, we're out here for much longer than that. The team's been out at the jetty since the park opens at 6 a.m. So, yeah, we're out here for quite a while, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's the thing.
I didn't say 10 hours. I said 10 people.
But it's person hours, not it's hours.
Yeah. I know what I meant. Okay, I know what I meant.
Just the commentators alone, there's like 15 person hours just there. Just saying.
And we of course not only do we have our field team, fields team, but we have our wonderful production team in the background, of course. Kevin, Michael Reed, Jay Keegan, and all of the Space Coast Live operators moving the robotic cameras, which are trained on New Glen right now. Okay, let's keep moving through here. Stephen Lewis has a great question. When orbital reef, question mark? Alex, do we know?
I think we're seeing here pictures from the field.
Yeah, this is
somebody
out there from not our normal Cape team. In fact, Ryan Weber, who you may know from Raptor Sides and things like that, is actually in Florida and here for this particular launch. This is also out at Jetty Park. So Ryan Weber getting to join in on the field action. And there's all the people lined up that I was talking about on the jetty portion.
Cool pictures indeed. Anyways, Alex, when orbital reef, question mark?
I don't know. This is one of those where it's like, I have no idea. We have had no comments, no, like, Just to put it in perspective, I think the last time we got any information about Orbital Rift that was related to timelines was when they got the contract, where they said, yeah, we want to launch by 2028. And that's about it. We have no idea how that's going, where they are in terms of timelines. Have they built anything? Have they tested anything? We don't know. Yeah, so that's where we are. It's more questions than answers right now, unfortunately. So yeah.
And we have another question here from Pokemon Kid, who is asking, what is the flame next to the water tower? Well, Sawyer, I believe that is one of 3 flare stacks they have at the pad.
5?
5? Wow, I thought it was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the flare stacks. So any excess of the hydrogen, of the methane, anything like that, they try and reclaim as much as they can, and then they move it away from the pad and burn it off. It's not like SpaceX where they have reclaimers and they try and reclaim and reuse things. So they'll take all the excess and move it away from the pad and burn it off, and that's what you're seeing. So it's totally normal.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Just one of those ways which they can get rid of that excess propellant that they don't need, Alex. We don't see this at every launch complex, do we, Alex? But the Blue have decided to use it here.
ULA uses the same for Atlas V and Vulcan. Atlas V uses hydrogen on the upper stage, so there's a hydrogen flare stack at Slick 41. And for Vulcan, they have the same sort of similar profile as the New Glenn, where it's like the first stage is methane fueled and the upper stage is hydrogen fueled. So both the methane and the hydrogen need to be sent off to be burned off. Instead of venting it, you don't want to vent that. It's a hazard, it's a risk. Also, the methane side of things, it's also a high pollutant as well, very powerful in terms of the greenhouse gas and everything, right? So you have that, but also I mentioned there are 5. The Blue Origin Launchpad LC-36 is really complicated when it comes to that, because you've got the ground tanks where the hydrogen and oxygen and methane are stored on the ground, and they have 2 flare stacks there, one for the hydrogen and another one for the methane. But then once those propellants go out to the rocket, they boil off and everything, and they reclaim that boil off. And that boil off is burned off at those 2 flare stacks that you can see near the water tower, and one is for hydrogen, the other one is for methane. But there's a 5th. The launch pad, LC-36, is also the place where they're going to be testing their lunar lander. And their lunar lander uses hydrogen as their fuel. And so they also have a 5th flare stack out there all the way to the left of the launch pad, where they also flare off that hydrogen that they're going to be using for those tests of the lander. So really, really complicated pad, but that's how it goes.
I was not expecting that to be an Alex answer, but I'm going to allow you the opportunity to do it again, because, something we love to talk about on NSF is, of course, the Federal Aviation Administration. And one of the things they do, of course, is license commercial rocket launches in the US. And Stephen Lewis has a great question. Not a great premise, which I'm not going to read out because I don't want to do a commentary jinx, but they're asking, should something not go to plan, will it be an FAA anomaly, or is the attempt enough? So, Alex, if you would give us the fortune of explaining what outcomes means in terms of Blue Origin's launch license for New Glenn, will they have a mishap investigation, etc., etc.
If it lands and then after it lands it crashes, it will not trigger. But if it crashes as it lands, then it does. So it's a very, very weird way of putting it, but that's essentially what we've seen, for example, in the past with Falcon 9 rocket boosters, where it's like, if it fails as it is landing, then that triggers that. But if it fails after, or it lands, it is on a drone ship, but something happens after it's landed, then that's a thing for SpaceX to deal. Same thing here, I would assume is the same, because, it's the same regulations with New Glenn as well. So, on the first flight, they also had this issue with the entry burn on the booster. It blew up in the air. So they had also that that mishap investigation to go through with the FAA. So I will assume if it were to happen at landing, right, where it's like it punches a hole in the deck of Jackling, then I will assume something similar will happen there as well. Anyway.
Yeah, it's again like the last one. Again, it made it to orbit properly, but since it didn't land, they had to do the anomaly investigation on it. So there's a lot of nuance to it specifically. Of hey, here's how hello there. Here's what does and what doesn't classify as the anomaly, and we've gone through. The FAA has been updating it over the years. What number are they on now? What's this for something with it?
The what?
What is it, like 430? What's the FAA regulation for that now? For the anomaly?
Anyway, so we are now looking at 19 minutes before launch, allegedly. And thank you for staying with us. We don't know what the problem is. There is a problem, which they are investigating. No announcement from Blue Origin about the nature of that problem. So before we go any further, here's a quick word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Picastro. It's like Instagram for space nerds. So thank you to Picastro for sponsoring this video. Much appreciated. So, Michael. Do we have Michael?
Hello.
Hello, Michael. So what are you looking forward to seeing if it finally gets off the ground then, Michael?
A good mission and a successful deployment of the satellites.
Fair enough. Can't say fairer than that.
On the right trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as we said, I'm looking forward to the first stage landing.
Yep. Well.
Let's see if they can manage to pull that off. But there is a lot resting on this flight, as I was saying earlier, because Blue Origin have been developing this rocket for years and years and years, and it's way behind schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to demonstrate that that it is a viable launch system.
Yeah.
And if they want to compete with the likes of SpaceX, which because there's always been this intense rivalry between Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, and I think one of the main reasons that that there is so much resting on this is Jeff Bezos must be a little anxious, because he desperately wants to compete with SpaceX, and Blue Origin was founded in the year 2000, 2 years before SpaceX, and in 25 years they've only managed one orbital flight, apart from sending that joyriding flying beans a little bit beyond the Kármán line.
You just had to have a dig.
Listen, there's been so much bad publicity about spaceflight as a result of the New Shepard, especially that disastrous flight with Katy Perry, which turned out to be a public relations disaster, because Jeff Bezos was trying to play down the fact that let's not forget New Shepard is not just for rich joyriders. I mean, the Italian Space Force mounted a flight on New Shepard to test some instruments they were developing. So it's not just about joyrides, but it mostly is, and it's mostly rich people having a bit of a joyride.
Yeah.
Except, of course, what was her name? The elderly astronaut who got to go up in it.
Oh,
I can't remember. Isn't that terrible? No insults intended, but I can't remember her name.
Yeah, she was one of the Apollo ladies, wasn't she?
She was selected for astronaut back in the 60s, but she never got to fly because they scrapped the whole training program for female astronauts. For no good reason other than the fact they were female astronauts.
Yeah.
So she never got to fly, but she did get to go into space finally on New Shepard. So that's one good thing to come out.
I mean, for some reason, I got something like Fanny something or other.
Well, you've always got that, Jan. Let's face it. It was a
key name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let me look that up. I'll come back to you on that.
Yeah, please look that up.
Yeah.
It wasn't Fanny somebody, I don't think.
Probably was.
Daz's biggest Freudian slip of the evening there. So it might not be the last. So yes, but I mean, on the whole, it's been rich people having a joyride, and the Katy Perry flight, none of them were taking it seriously. There was so much giggling and stupid behavior going on, and it did, lessen the dignity of going into space. And of course, William Shatner went as well.
He did,
and he was absolutely in awe of the whole thing, and he said exactly the right words.
And he went where lots of people have gone before.
yeah, a bit like you, Michael.
Hey.
So he said exactly the right words about his flight. He was in awe of it, and when he looked down on the fragility of the Earth and its minuscule atmosphere, he was really in awe of it. But it's, I know he needs to raise money, and Jeff Bezos is currently having to sell $1 billion a year in Amazon stock to pay for Blue Origin, because it'll be years before it's self-supporting, especially at this rate.
That's a shame.
The lady was Wally Funk.
Well, that's the one, Wally.
Yeah, Wally Funk.
Yes, Wally Funk. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Daz. Yes. So,
I remember it now.
Yeah. So glad she finally got to go into space, which had always been her dream. And of course, she went on to train pilots, didn't she?
That's right.
And she racked up something like 50,000 hours in flying fast jets or something like that. Yeah. And amazing lady. So really glad she got to go into space. And there we are. But Blue Origin is costing a lot of money. It's costing Jeff Bezos a lot of money. You may see Blue Origin as a vanity project, but Jeff Bezos has the ultimate aim of moving heavy industry off the surface of the Earth and into space by building orbital factories. And that's great. But Jeff, let's see a few flights after 25 years, shall we?
There's a couple of things that have just popped up in the thing. Deep Burrito says Bezos equals slogans, Musk equals results.
Very true. Yeah, and also
then Barry's opening up a can of worms here. He says Katy Perry is technically an astronaut. No, she's not. She's a tourist. And Paul says, why is it called Sue Origin? Well, we all know that Jeff Bezos loves to not another hold.
Yeah, it's on hold. We've got another hold.
Jeff Bezos loves to sue people when he doesn't get his way.
Jeff Bezos has got his lawyers on speed dial, put it like that. He's extremely litigious, and people are scared of Jeff Bezos' lawyers. They really are. Which explains why Blue Origin has managed to nab so many big government contracts when they've never really got anything off the ground very much. And even before New Glenn flew for the first time, with only the New Shepard going up and down with the rich tourists, he was bagging, really, really high value military and government contracts for getting stuff into space. And I'm absolutely convinced it's because they're frightened of his lawyers, because if you do anything Jeff Bezos doesn't like, he immediately reaches for his phone to phone his lawyers. And that's why it's called Sue Origin. And there's another cruise ship about to drift into the exclusion zone.
So why they were showing a cruise ship? There's two there. There's two there.
Yeah. So that's why. And I really think at heart, Blue Origin is a vanity project, and their lack of results over the years, as I was saying, I think it was either on Sunday, Monday. Jeff Bezos was heavily criticized a couple of years ago for the slow progress at Blue Origin, and he said, I'm going to do a lot more. I'm going to spend 2 afternoons a week at Blue Origin instead of just 1. And that's the depth of his own commitment. So we'll have to wait and see. So we've got another hold, and we're now looking at, according to the clock there, 19 minutes. But the NASA space flight is showing a hold. So we'll just have to... perhaps they're just saying it's on hold. It's not a new hold. Yeah, 19 minutes. So there we are. There we are. Viewers,
yeah.
So there we are. There have been no scheduled launches beyond this for Blue Origin. I couldn't find any information about a next flight. So they're obviously having to... Oh, God, that countdown clock's much bigger than I expected. Or those very tiny people.
They're borrowers.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the confidence that they have in their own rocket, that they haven't scheduled any further flights. I don't know how many successful flights they have to mount before they get clearance from the military to carry military satellites. I'm not sure about that. So, Deepwood, I thought the FAA has shut down all... well, you see, this is exactly what we've just been talking about. Jeff Bezos got an exemption from the US government for this flight. Now, so the thing is about this, the reason given for this is that it's not a commercial flight because it's carrying NASA, i.e. government probes, and they have been exempted. That was the official reason given, but I'm pretty sure the conversation went something like, "Hi, this is Jeff Bezos. If you don't let me fly, I'm going to call my lawyers." So I wouldn't be at all surprised. But anyway, we'll see. Looking at 17 minutes on the clock now, just over 17 minutes, and there we are. Now, SpaceX, meantime. I don't know whether you've been following what they've been doing over the last week or so. They've been really launching a lot of Falcon 9s over the last couple of weeks. They've already broken their record number of flights for 2024. They've gone beyond that this year, as they intended to, which is great. The launch of the Starship is coming up meant to be coming up in the early weeks of January. So is Elon driving a cruise ship through the exclusion zone? Maybe, yes, Paul. Maybe that could well be him. It's going very slowly. That's probably the effect of the horse tranquilizers. So we'll wait and see. But yes, the next Starship flight is due in the early weeks of January. Preparations are going ahead. And what's accelerated recently is the work on the SpaceX launch pad at Cape Canaveral, which for a couple of years they didn't really do much with, but they are going to be flying out of Cape Canaveral as well as out of Boca Chica in Texas very soon, perhaps by the beginning of next summer. There's still quite a bit of work to do. But then SpaceX will have 2 launch bases, one at Cape Canaveral in Florida and the other one at Boca Chica in Texas, which they will need if they want to mount the number of flights of Starship that they intend to do. The long-term vision, of course, for Starship is for it to fly, for one Starship to fly several times a day, which I think is probably not going to happen, bearing in mind the amount of refurbishment that they will need on each vehicle. But anyway, it's good to have a vision, and there we are. So we've got the Carnival Freedom going past the camera now, and
the countdown started again, Andy.
Yep, I saw that. Yep, 15 minutes. So there we are. And for those of you that have just joined us, don't forget that on Space Oddities on Tuesday, we will be talking about the enigmatic moon of Saturn, namely Titan, which is an amazing world. And we'll have Lou Mayo, who, as a NASA planetary scientist, is a specialist in Titan. So he'll be telling us about the latest developments. There have been a lot of new bits of data about Titan this year, and we'll update you with the latest findings about Titan, because some of them are really interesting. And Lou can barely contain his excitement, so he'll be telling you all about that on Tuesday. We also hope to have Dr. Dave Williams with us again on Tuesday, who is likewise a NASA planetary scientist, and I'm sure he'll be contributing as well. And oh, look at that! I've just got my OneDrive look back on your memories image of the day back, and it's Anna and Sarah, the two astronauts. So who we did a project with back in February to get them talking to the 3 schools in Yorkshire, which they did. And we're very proud to have instigated and mounted that project to get 2 SpaceX astronauts talking to children, and it was fantastic, wasn't it, Daz? It went really well.
Yeah, well, really well. The kids enjoyed it, and the astronauts even enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I mean, the kids did throw them a few curveballs. So yeah, it was a fun day. That was a very fun day.
Yeah.
Sorry, just going back to the 3rd flight. If I remember rightly, the last I heard, the 3rd flight will be Blue Moon. They were talking about the 3rd flight will be launching their Blue Moon, but we don't know if it's going to be the Blue Moon HLS, Human Landing System, or it's going to be one of their smaller versions, which are cargo versions. They got 3 altogether.
Well, I think from what I read, Blue Origin have told NASA that the human version of the Blue Moon lander, that is capable of transporting humans, will not be ready till at least the end of 2028. So if they want to launch Artemis in 2027, they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And I still maintain that even with all the delays with the SpaceX Starship, it remains the best spaceship for the job. Because with Blue Origin's record of slipping years behind schedule with everything, if they say 2028, you can bet it's going to be at least 2030. I may be wrong, but we'll have to wait and see. So, it should be a straightforward matter of landing people on the moon, transferring them from lunar orbit to the surface of the moon. We did it with Apollo without really any problems, and you'd think it would be a straightforward matter of getting people to the lunar surface, but it's proved actually to be far more complicated than anybody realized, not least because I think they are landing at the south pole of the moon, which is an exceptionally rugged area, and it's very difficult to land safely on. So it's a completely different challenge for landing in the Sea of Tranquility, for example. So the next few years are going to be really exciting in space. There's so much coming up. I see that a British company have come up with a nuclear propulsion engine, which could reduce the transit time to Mars to 1 month. So we'll look into that and give you the details of that next Tuesday. And Michael just popped off for it, and he's now back. Let me just let him join in. So welcome back, Michael. You haven't missed anything. So we're looking at 11 minutes before the countdown now. And there we are. Don't forget, viewers, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And let's just have a quick look at the chat and see. There we are. Let me go to the bottom. Yes, Apollo 13, just a minor inconvenience, the deep burrito. But when you think about it, I mean, the deep burrito, you're probably not old enough to remember it, but I remember the morning that they cancelled the Apollo 13 moon landing, and they, considering the severe peril that they were in, getting those astronauts alive back from the moon or near the moon, on the way to the moon, was an amazing achievement. And
That's right.
and it did go to prove the resilience of the whole Apollo launch system and flight system. That even with a crippled spaceship, they managed to save the astronauts. They were amazing days.
That was NASA at its best, wasn't it?
It was. It was. And the astronauts at their best, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I mean that sort of like proved the use of test pilots.
Yes.
They've got nerves of steel. So yeah, but they worked. I mean, they all worked together. They got them back safely, and as you said, I can remember them coming back and the huge relief of when they actually splashed down. Because by the time, I mean, I know we're going up digressing a little bit, but 13 was one of the because we'd already had 11 and 12 land on the moon, and 13 the population had lost interest.
Indeed.
Because they even did a broadcast which from live from the capsule, which actually wasn't put out on the airways.
Yeah. That's right.
So there was no one watching. But it was Apollo 13 that brought the population back to space travel, just to see the drama that was that unfolded. And basically it was the world holding its breath for several days while they came back.
That's right.
It was an amazing feeling at the time. The whole world was united in watching what was happening with the astronauts. These days you'd have millions of people saying, oh, it's completely fake, it's CGI, it's not really happening, NASA is a fraud, etc., etc. It's very sad. But I mean, I say millions of people because just going by social media, there must be. So it was an amazing time for the world.
We had a good talk last night at the Society about Apollo 12. Really interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, by Ben Evans. So that was good.
Yeah, great. I mean, the tragedy of it is, within about 20 or 30 years, there won't be anybody left alive who remembers the Apollo era, including us.
Or even involved in it.
Yeah, even involved in it. And once you've got people who can no longer say, listen, it wasn't fake, it wasn't all CGI, not that CGI existed then, of course, but that doesn't seem to bother the moon landing tonight.
Yeah.
Once there's nobody left who remembers it, convincing people that it actually happened is going to be even more difficult.
Yeah,
So
let's do it again and do it soon.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
I mean, just right, here we go. Yes, Deep Burrito said I stayed up to watch the 69 landing. I'm old. Well, that's all of us then.
Yeah.
Because I was
I don't really remember them. The early ones.
Don't you? Oh, I was sat there in my pajamas because we got out.
Even though my mum says I did get up, I was got up to see Apollo 11 on the television.
You don't remember?
Because they sort of landed in the evening, but they were supposed to go to sleep. But they were sort of like all excited and they just wanted to get on with the job. They did the walk early. So we got out of bed early to sat there in front of the telly watching it. I can remember that. So,
but I was only 9. I was only 9 for Apollo 11. No, sorry, I was only 8.
Oh, the Deep Burrito! I honestly didn't know you were that old. So yeah. I mean, I remember, my parents swore blind to me that they would get me up and it was about 5 o'clock in the morning UK time. They would get me up to watch it, and I went to sleep absolutely petrified that they would forget, but they didn't. Bless them, they got me up. So Sandra, you were 4. I don't believe you. Don't believe you. You couldn't have been born then. You couldn't have been. Absolutely refuse to believe that.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Deep Winter says the first I remember is the Christmas Apollo 8.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because that was what really gripped me. I was already hooked on the idea of space through all the science fiction novels and things like Dan Dare and all that, and it really fascinated you. And there was a whole series of remember when you used to get cards in the tea packets?
Oh God,
I collected all the cards and all that, and I mean, if you looked at that now, you think, what the hell are they talking about? and
also the
drawings and that. So
the cards you used to get in packs of bubblegum as well.
Yeah, and but it was the Apollo 8 that really gripped me, and I can always remember when getting the Daily Mail moon map. And from sort of like there on, they sort of like published when the landing started. They published a little flag, and you had to pin them in the map where the actual were occurring.
That's right. And do you remember the Jackdaw series?
Yeah.
And they did Jackdaws on all sorts of subjects.
And
I had the Apollo Jackdaw, and I've still got some of it. And for those of you that are obviously far too young, Jackdaw was basically a folder, like a pouch that you could buy on a range of subjects, and it contained lots of documents and interesting things and games and God knows what else about whatever subject. A lot of historical. It was mainly historical stuff.
Yeah,
I had the Apollo one, and it was brilliant. And then I actually wrote to NASA to ask them if they had anything they could give me. This would have been around the time of Apollo 11 or Apollo 12, somewhere around there. And they sent me a thick print of 100 astronaut biographies.
Oh,
yeah, completely free of charge. I didn't know they had 100 astronauts, but anyway. The moon map, says the Deep Root. I had the National Geographic magazine gave away a massive moon map. Mind you, I remember it as massive. I was a lot smaller than it. Probably wasn't that big. But it fit inside the magazine, and I had that on my wall for years. And the Epic Apollo model kit, Okay, we're going to go over to the launch now. We're just over 2 minutes away, so let's join in the launch. Put some sound on. Oops, and let's try that again.
Blue Origin, very happy indeed. We will go for a bit more of a space nerd approach here on NSF. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to run in the count. Alex, what are the final things expecting to come up in the final 90 seconds?
Pressurization now coming up to flight pressures. We can see the vents have turned off. So everything is proceeding as expected. Next up should be... Yep. Next up should be the vehicle going in internal power in about 8 seconds.
That will be at T-minus 90 seconds, which is now. And the vehicle, again, fully in control of the count from T-minus 30 seconds.
On internal power.
And this clock continuing to count down. 1 minute, 10 seconds to go. That's a different boat that's getting in the way, which is fantastic. But don't fret, we have the drone views from Jerry Pike. Jerry Pike is going to save the day. 1 minute to go until the launch of New Glenn 2. 30 seconds away from the water deluge and the autopilot being enabled on Glenn Stage 1. 50 seconds left to run in the count.
Here we go then, guys. Fingers and legs crossed.
Through 1 minute, still going. Flight termination system has been enabled. Range is green.
That's what we want to hear. Nothing in the way this time around. We are approaching 30 seconds. Keep an eye out at the base of the vehicle, because that is where we'll start to see that water deluge system splash up. That runs for the 30 seconds before T0. Expect engine ignition at T minus 5 seconds. So we should see that water deluge spooling up any second.
There we go.
And it is spooling up now as I speak. 15 seconds left to run in the count. We can see it from Jerry's drone. Very, very big water deluge system. Stand by for the ignition of the 7 BE4s. Here we go. We've got ignition. And retraction.
No, we haven't.
And liftoff.
Oh, we have.
Hey! He's off and away. Escapade is headed to Mars.
No, it's not. It's headed to L2.
Look at the blue flame.
New Glenn has cleared the tower.
Oh, there we are.
And you've got
Look at the blue flame and the methane.
got the fake diamonds in there as well.
The cruise ships are happy. We're pitching down range. Let's listen in for the roar of those 7 BE4 Methalox beauties.
Calm down, lad.
It's only a rocket.
Oh, wish I was on that cruise ship.
Exactly, they're going to have an excellent view because it's going to be pitching down alongside them.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Look at the Mac diamonds in that.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
I thought it looked a bit slow coming off the pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Actually.
To be honest, it doesn't look that fast at the moment, but
Right.
Well,
we'll give it
it's
the
blue
benefit.
origin.
It's blue
Look at
origin.
Look at that view.
Everything runs slowly with Blue Origin.
No.
Blue and pink in the
80 seconds into flight, those 7 Methalox engines are absolutely spectacular as New Glenn pitches down range and is approaching max Q in approximately 10 seconds. This ginormous rocket delivering 2 satellites for NASA. Oh my goodness, the vapor is now forming as we approach supersonic speeds through max Q right now. We've had good call-outs from Blue Origin, all 7 engines performing as expected. And that shining light in the sky is a 98-meter tall New Glenn continuing to pitch down range. And that was a spectacular ascent. We should see main engine cutoff in 1 minute from now. That was incredible.
Wow. It's so cool seeing this in daylight, man, compared to nighttime.
And we've gotten both of them now. We had the nighttime New Glenn 1, the daytime New Glenn 2, the best of both worlds. It is equally spectacular in the nighttime as it is in the day. And those 7 BE4s continue to burn. 30 seconds now from main engine cutoff. We should expect all 7 of those main engines to extinguish. The separation 4 seconds later of the stages, and then the ignition of the BE3Us on the second stage at T plus 3 minutes and 17 seconds into flight. So main engine cutoff coming up in 10 seconds time. We are continuing to track the vehicle as it heads down range. Expect to see those engines cut off any second now.
There we are.
That looked like Miko?
Yep, there's Miko. And we should be able to track stage separation from the ground.
Yeah,
there goes the booster. There goes Glenn Stage 2. They are separate objects in the sky. And the booster appears to be flipping now. And we've had good ignition on the BE3Us. Glenn Stage 2 headed to orbit.
Wow.
Booster.
Looking good.
That.
Continuing to track these 2 separate objects. Cruise ships again very happy in the background with their horns. And we can see the venting there from the booster. Onboard views from Glenn Stage 2.
Wow.
That's cool. Look at that.
What a wall.
4 minutes into
Staring
flight.
separation as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed we can see those separate. Maybe we'll even see it separate from the ground. Who knows? We'll just have to see how clear the skies are today. But that should occur at T plus 3 minutes and 50 seconds, about 20 seconds ago.
And
Looks like they might be tracking the booster here.
Well, what do we think, guys? That's fantastic.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful launch.
Yeah.
Of course, it looks
I
slow. What
believe
you got to
this is the
remember,
booster
this
we are
is one
tracking,
big
but that is
rocket.
confirmation of fairing jettison
Yeah.
on the second
One
stage.
big rocket.
So everything performing
Well
as
done,
expected with
Origin.
Glenn Stage 2 and the 2 Escapade spacecraft, which
So
are
what did you
currently
think,
on their
viewers?
way to their parking orbit. Seco
Did you
1 will
enjoy
be 2
that?
plus 12 minutes 53
Deep
seconds. So
Burrito
keep
says
an eye out for that.
post-sunset
In the
launches on the
meantime,
West
though, we're
Coast
going
are
to keep an
stunning.
eye
It's
on the booster.
quite-
I can imagine.
Yeah, we're still seeing the booster, even though it's heading downrange. It's
That's
out
a
there.
long way that they're seeing
It's
it.
orienting itself
Yeah.
for the entry. Still
For maybe 5
79
minutes.
miles in
We'll see.
altitude.
So here comes the
This is
booster.
almost what you'd expect for an RTLS. I mean, this isn't coming back to the launch site. This is landing on a platform 600 kilometers downrange,
think-
yet our assets at the Cape can still see it.
I think the reason is because it's so big. Even though it's going out there downrange, it's
Wow.
still visible.
Right, this is the
Fingers
moment.
crossed,
of truth.
everybody.
Seeing the entry burn igniting at T plus 6 minutes and 48 seconds, so about a minute and a half
Sandra
away
says, well done.
from
Sandra,
the
not
entry
talking
burn.
to you since you
This
claimed
is
you
the
were born in
critical step in the
1965,
fight.
which
This
I
is
failed
when
to
New
believe.
Glenn 1 couldn't get it done, couldn't relight the BE4s. This is where everything could change for New Glenn.
Oh,
Again, on
yeah.
board with Glenn Stage 2, the
Beautiful.
twin BE3U engines
Lovely.
continuing to burn. Escapade
We got
is
any
on the
cameras
orbit.
on the booster?
The booster, however, we are expecting standing
I don't
by
know.
for
There's a camera
the
on the barge,
reignition.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
where they went wrong on New Glenn 1.
but
Fingers crossed they feel
whether or
sorted
not
out and got
SpaceX
fixed
will
for New
show
Glenn
us,
2.
not
It's past
SpaceX,
apogee,
Blue
it's now
Blue
coming back
Origin will
down
show
on
us.
its trajectory.
Easy
And
mistake
a
to make,
reminder,
though.
the landing will occur
Well,
about
yes, dumb it
600
flying.
kilometers
We're not
used to
north,
that
and
from-
it's very similar
It's,
to a booster landing
it's
from
landing
Falcon
on
9, for example.
Jacqueline,
So
is it
we're
not?
still tracking this, and I think it is just because it's huge.
Yeah.
It's on the
That's probably
barge
the only
called
reason we're still
Jacqueline, named
tracking
after
this.
his mum.
Indeed, we are
Yeah.
30 seconds
Yeah.
away from the entry burn. Sawyer, very briefly, we have you back with us. How was that launch from your perspective?
Not sure the timing for when
Unbelievable.
the
I'm on a
engines
hotel
relight.
balcony, the window
They
and
can't
the
be too
doors
far
were
away.
rattling and shaking like crazy.
So far, so
That is
good, Paul,
quite a
indeed.
deep rumble to it.
Thank you.
The base spectacular, the colors amazing, especially as it started to get higher up into the atmosphere. To see it looked almost pure
Oh,
white
wow.
Oh,
from
gosh.
the blue of those BE4 engines. Unreal.
Under 10 seconds away now from the entry burn. Stand by for
Right,
the
10 seconds to the
reignition.
entry burn.
Will they do it? It looks like we've got a little bit of a vapor cone forming there.
This
almost.
is the important,
Stand
crucial
by for
bit.
the
Will those
reignition.
engines
How we
relight?
still have vision
They
of
failed
this
to on the
is
first
beyond
attempt,
my
so will they
brain.
relight this time?
Stand by. We should be seeing it momentarily. There we go. 3 BE4s
Look at that.
reignited on the
Oh, yeah.
booster. They've done it. The re-entry burn is
Look how it's pushed
firing.
that cone out.
They're fighting
Yeah.
fire with
No.
fire and slowing
at
down
that.
to protect itself from the aerodynamic forces of re-entry. Look at that entry burn go.
It's the same thing that we see with the Falcon entry burn, right? The line, it's sort of perpendicular to the one of the engines. Look at that.
That is cool.
And
Oh,
everyone
that's
at the
very
Cape
cool.
is
No
losing
shot
their mind,
there.
and rightly so. We now have the shutdown,
Wow.
the planned shutdown of those BE4 engines. Landing burn coming up in 50 seconds time. Now, this is where things are
Gosh.
about to get very,
Oh,
very
I
exciting.
mean, you know, all
indeed.
joking about Blue
Somehow
Origin
we are still
aside,
tracking this booster from
isn't
Blue
it
Origin
great
as
to
it
see
heads down range.
another
We are
company,
now a minute
Yeah,
away
attempting
from landing
Yeah.
this
on
maneuver?
Jacqueline.
Hang
New
on, just
Glenn
turn the
could
sound off here.
become the
NSF guys are getting a bit overexcited. Yes, it's great to see another company attempting to recover a first stage
Yeah.
and underlining yet again that we are in the era of reusability in spaceflight. After 60 odd years of dumping tons of metal into the Atlantic, people have finally realized that it's a hell of a lot cheaper if you don't, and a lot more environmentally friendly too.
Yep.
I wonder if this has got fins on it. There seems
It
to be
has.
something at the top.
No, they're 2/3 of the way down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So they
see the
got some
black line?
side fins. Yeah. Here it comes.
Yeah. Oh, you mean grid fins?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's got grid fins. Here it goes through the clouds. The engines have fired. Oh, damn those clouds.
Oh.
Wow.
We've got.
Oh, they have got a camera there. Oh, look out for the barge. Where's the barge? There.
Oh, come on. Catch up, catch up. Oh, here we go.
Oh, lovely angle. Look at that.
Oh,
Oh, video, don't freeze now. Oh. That's NASA spaceflight buffering.
There we go.
Whoa.
Yes.
They've done it.
It's
They've
there.
done it.
Have they? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's down. So, headline news: Blue Origin on their second attempt nail the landing.
Hey,
There it is.
And there it is.
Wow.
Fantastic achievement, Blue
Stunning.
Origin. Well done. Well done.
Well done,
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah.
Well done, Blue Origins.
Yeah.
Because I spoke before, I think, on the last one, that this has actually got 6 legs.
Yes.
Which Blue and SpaceX use 4 legs, but because it's got 6 shorter legs, it adds up to the same coverage of area.
That's right.
So,
yes, they're not
brilliant.
giant legs like they are on the Falcon 9.
Yeah.
There seems
They're
to be
short-
no flames.
short,
There's
sturdy.
no.
Yep.
This is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Because they're also talking about developing to the reusable second stage, which would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Paul says it came down 10 meters too far over, stopped itself, and moved to the center.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. Yeah.
That's incredible. That is
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean, SpaceX do exactly the same thing. It's designed to miss the barge, and then right at the last minute correct itself.
Yeah.
And of course, SpaceX, they Blue Origins on the first time, they've got it smack down center.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas Blue Origin, for a little while, they wobbled a little bit, but they were landing them. But that is absolutely fantastic. Well done.
Well done,
Hat off to
SpaceX.
them
And
for that.
meanwhile, I have no idea when the deployment of the Escapade probes is going to happen.
Yeah, we've got all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. NASA haven't, I can assure you. So, so we will try and get some information about that. Perhaps I'll just look this up. That'd be the obvious thing to do.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic.
It was.
Yeah.
I thought that one image that we saw of the booster almost when it was almost down, it did look a few meters away from the ship, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently the Escapade spacecraft are being deployed 33 minutes after launch.
Right.
So we've got a little while to wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is sort of like record breaking to have a second company now to be able to land. Actually, I'll say that it's not strictly true. Here it comes. It's rerun.
Yeah, that's when the video froze a bit.
Look at that.
Sheer raw power.
Yeah. And it was so
well
gentle
done,
landing as well.
Better late than never.
Yeah. And there seems to be no damage to the decking or anything, so that was something else to see.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, let's just hope they can get some cadence going and get these rockets built and flying on a regular basis.
Yeah, which they have to really if they want to.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, with all the troubles they've had trying to launch it, just sort of like missing out the last attempt when they had to scrub due to the space weather. It's the fact that they don't do regular space launches that they're getting these problems. The more they launches they do, the more proficient they're going to get at all the ground systems and all the little they're line out all the little nooks and crannies and all the little blips and all the gremlins. So once they start to really get this going now, then all well and good job for everyone. As we said, we need all these rocket providers to really have some good luck and get their things running. What was this?
Yeah.
Just
and looking at the photo of or the video of the new the Blue Origin employees here, like SpaceX, they have a very young workforce, and it's really encouraging to see young people going into STEM, into engineering, into space science. Absolutely fantastic. So it augurs well for the future.
Yep.
So there we are. Okay, Daz and Michael, shall we return a bit closer to the deployment of Escapade?
Yeah, we can do. I mean,
So
we're not
without-
even sure, really, actually. We haven't heard anything whether or not the second stage is performing
Nice.
well.
No.
They seem to be concentrating on the landing.
Yeah.
I don't think, unless something's been said. I'm assuming everything's nominal. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, we can pop back in there.
I might not return, so I'll see you guys soon. So,
okay, then, mate. You take care.
Yeah,
we'll see you on Tuesday, if not before.
Yeah, I should be there. All right then.
Take care then. All the best, Michael. Nice seeing you.
See you again. Thanks.
Ta-da. Yeah, I mean, they're ecstatic. I mean, this has been a long time in the waiting, so you can understand why they're overjoyed. It's deep burrito. Now do it 543 times.
43 times, yeah.
And repeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean everything seems stable. Yeah, at least it was different from their animation of this because, as you said when they showed it last time, the actual barge was ploughing through the sea, wasn't it?
Ploughing through the water, doing about 20 knots. Yeah. In their simulation. Yeah, no, not going to happen. So here we are. I'm just going to put the volume up because we don't know if NASA Spaceflight are going to carry on with their coverage. So let's just listen in for a bit.
Burn before deploying the Escapade spacecraft.
Yeah, we've been talking about for so long. When is somebody else going to repeat what Falcon 9 did, right? What SpaceX did? And finally, we got the answer. It is Blue Origin with New Glenn. Finally. Another reusable booster, man.
Maybe Duce 3 will be the third.
Oh, man.
I need to take down my pinned comment now because on my X account because technically we now have the answer.
I was hoping it was going to be Rocket Lab, but they dropped Electron reuse, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll see.
Sorry, I'm just typing a tweet right now, congratulating Blue Origin. Yeah.
Sorry, that was. Oh, it seemed a little.
We all keep saying the same thing. We all keep just like processing it in our brain, Sawyer, because it was so incredible.
I'm also kind of going through all my photos that I've just been editing now, but I mean, that seemed a little faster at liftoff, no? It was still slow. Still very slow, but less scary slow. Am I right?
Maybe it's rose-tinted glasses, but it definitely felt faster.
And that was not sped up, because I'm watching it with the Mark eyeballs here, so I can tell you this was not sped up.
Yeah, you can't run a time lapse through your eyes. Oh my goodness. Okay.
It really looked cool in daylight instead of like we actually.
Yeah, there's nothing much going on there at the moment. So
no, I mean, although I'm not trying to take anything away from Blue Origin, but it was exciting to watch. But the edge has been taken off because we see it so often with SpaceX.
Yeah.
But it's still a massive achievement. Let's not take anything away from Blue Origin.
Yeah, I mean, if this had been the first drone ship landing ever, we would have been absolutely knocked out.
And also, Paul said he loved the way the legs worked, and also remind us it's a hell of a lot heavier than a Falcon 9.
Falcon 9, it is, yeah.
So definitely. This was stunning, absolutely stunning. So let's hope they can repeat it and get some cadence going. So
indeed. Yeah. So anyway, we're now 19 minutes into flight. What I suggest we do, Daz, we have a break for say 10 minutes.
Have a quick break.
Come back. Right, we'll be back, viewers. We'll leave you with NASA spaceflight. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't go away.
And it's going to, like, pass mere meters from our fleet cams. That is going to be unbelievable. As I said, it can only get better from here.
Somehow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's going to feel like, but it can only get better from here. And that is an empty Launch Complex 36, which has just successfully supported the second launch of New Glenn, which has landed Glenn Stage 1 and delivered Glenn Stage 2 into its parking LEO orbit. Next up will be the reignition of the BE-3Us on the upper stage as it prepares to send Escapade Blue and Escapade Gold to Lagrange Point 2. That coming up T plus 25 minutes and 0 seconds for a 1 minute and 44 second burn. So just about 5 minutes from now.
One main question that I'm seeing from a few people is, why is it that the New Glenn booster, it is not sooty like we see the ones from Falcon 9? And the main reason is the fuel that they use, and that is methane. It's a lot more cleaner when you burn that rather than the kerosene. And so kerosene leaves a lot of soot. Also, the engine cycle that they use, it's a different one, which is a lot cleaner as well in that sense. So Falcon 9 gets covered in its own soot as it does its re-entry burn. If you look at Super Heavy, though, you don't see any soot on that. It's got a little of charring because of the hot staging at the top, but it also doesn't have any soot, just like New Glenn. So just saying, that is why you don't see that on New Glenn.
I can't help but relive the emotions because we saw tracking from the WB-57 of the booster slamming its way into the clouds, and then we lost sight, and it's like, what's happened? We need to know. We cut on board with Jacqueline, and or cut on board with the booster, and let's look at the replay. I mean, it's coming down through the clouds. We see the ignition. We have the benefit of hindsight here to better explain this to everybody, but here we go. Vapor cone through the clouds. There is the ignition of the landing burn coming up there, and we can see that beautiful plume from the looks like 3 BE4s before down selecting to 1 later on in the burn, but it goes through the clouds. What's happened? We need to know. And then we cut on board live with the booster, and then we can't see Jacqueline. And I'm like, oh my goodness, are they going to do a successful soft splashdown? Where is the drone ship? We can't see it. And then it freezes, but then the legs deploy. What's going to happen next? We still can't see Jacqueline. There is Jacqueline, but there isn't a booster. And then we see a plume off to the right-hand side. Yes, they're definitely going for a soft splashdown at this point, but the camera freezes again. On board with this 360 camera, which is buffering, helpfully, at this point of the flight, and then slam cut to the booster, bang on center over Jacqueline. That was an emotional roller coaster and a half.
Yeah, and it also is unfair because their timeline said single engine landing burn, and it's like they lit up all 3 engines again, which is what their animation is saying. Like I said this before, right? Where it was like their animation shows 3 engines at startup, then they show on the timeline single engine. Like, what is going on here? And but yeah, it is 3 engines. They light up for about 20 seconds, then they down select to the center one to do that final sort of translation, deploy the legs, etc., etc. It's a weird way, but it's a way at least of landing the booster. More similar to New Shepard than what we've been grown used to with Falcon 9 and whatnot.
Blue Origin employees, deservedly so, very, very happy. They have just pulled off an incredible feat that only SpaceX has done so far, and Blue Origin is now number 2. They're in the club, and it is officially a club because there's more than one person in it. Looks like they're having some snacks there as well. But yeah, very happy Blue Origin employees, and we were just seeing before this a live view of the booster on the Jacqueline drone ship out there. I have a feeling I might not have much of a voice tomorrow, but I think it was worth it. Okay, let's take a look at the clock because we are now T plus 24 minutes into flight. That is a live view again. I'm going to keep saying it. Glenn Stage 1, never tell me the odds. Well, they were very much in Blue's favour on Jacqueline out at the Atlantic. Oh my goodness. A little bit of a rock on the drone ship though, we can just see by looking at the horizon. Anyways, looking at the clock. T plus 24.5 minutes into flight, we should be seeing the reignition of stage 2 any moment now at T plus 25 minutes on the dot. So we will stand by for that because, of course, Alex, I'm hoping we get a good relight here because if not, the Escapade can't really do much measuring of Mars in low Earth orbit.
Okay, so we're back. We're ready for the engine relight. And let's hope that we can actually see it. Well, let's do that. There we are.
Yep. So I've just been watching the replays of the landing, and as they sort of broke it down into. I mean, it was a bit of a roller coaster because we saw it come down, and it seemed to be so far off the barge that we thought, oh, are they going to just dump it in the sea and things like that. Then we saw an image of it sort of like tilted towards the barge. And then next thing we saw, and then of course it froze. And then next thing we saw was it landing actually, well, through the smoke and the haze.
Yeah.
The one engine bringing it down into the center of the barge. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So we don't appear to have any live coverage of the engine relight, which is a shame.
There's some telemetry. I mean, we had Deep Burrito says they now do it 543 times, and Paul has turned around and said, Burrito, I'm sure they will get to launch and land 543 times. I estimate in about 543 years.
Okay, let's just listen in to see if there's any news of the relight.
Miles in altitude now. Through nearly 20,000 miles per hour, which is 32,000 kilometers per hour.
Definitely seems to be accelerating.
Yeah.
Not that that's, not that you can visualize something going 32,000 kilometers an hour, but it's just a big number at the end of the day. Approaching 120 miles in altitude.
If my math is right, should be getting to about 24,000 miles per hour. But again, if my math is right, which it can be wrong.
I mean, I trust your maths over my maths, to be perfectly honest, with my dodgy scale of the barge earlier.
Okay, seems like they're getting to that speed. There we go. A little bit short of that I calculated, but I did a very eyeballing sort of calculation, so I'm good with that.
Okay, so we've gone past the engine relight now, and there's no news, so we assume everything went correctly.
Yeah, just looking at the telemetry, it's over 23.5 miles per hour, and it's at 137, 138 miles up at the moment. So it's altitude. So things seem to be going in the right direction. I mean, we don't want that being sort of like 23,000 miles per hour down.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while we're waiting, just a couple of things about what we've got coming up on Space Oddities. As I said, next week we'll be looking at Saturn's mysterious moon Titan. And just a heads up for January. In January, we will be welcoming as our special guest Dr. Alan Stern, who was the chief scientist for the NASA New Horizons mission to Pluto 10 years ago. And he was the man who pushed the whole mission from inception right through to completion, encountering many difficulties on the way because the mission was on, off, on, off, on, off. And he wrote a book about it, which is this one. It's called Chasing New Horizons, Alan Stern and David Grimspoon, available on Amazon. And it's a wonderful read of Alan Stern's own personal journey trying to get that spacecraft to Pluto. Really, really great book. Really enjoy reading it. I might reread it actually before January. January will mark the 20th anniversary of the launch of New Horizons to Pluto. So this is why Alan is joining us in January for the 20th anniversary of the launch. And we look forward to welcoming him on Space Oddities. We haven't got a date in January yet. I'll be confirming that with Alan after Christmas. We have spoken to Alan before when he was a guest on Astro Radio. which, as you may know, was the precursor to Space Oddities, the internet radio channel that Daz and myself and Michael and everybody else worked on together before, unfortunately, the Astro Radio folded, and we set up a YouTube channel called Space Oddities instead. So there we are. And we've still got a few people watching. So we are looking at, can't really see the countdown clock, 29 minutes. Yes. So in a few minutes, the 2 Escapade spacecraft will be launched on their journey to L2, nearly 1 million miles beyond the Earth, going away from the sun, where they will sit for a year monitoring solar weather before returning to the Earth, being swung around the Earth and then out to Mars. And as I said earlier, it's going to take 11 months for the spacecraft to get to Mars once they've departed from the Earth. So they will be there sometime in 2027, where they'll start their in-depth study of the Martian magnetosphere and hopefully give us some answers as to what happened exactly to the Martian atmosphere. Why did Mars lose its atmosphere all those billions of years ago? So we got that to look forward to. I'm just going to have a look at what we've got coming up in the way of rocket launches in the future. Let's have a look at the Spaceflight Now rocket schedule. So we've got a Falcon tomorrow, another bunch of Starlinks, and quickly followed by another bunch of Starlinks. So we could have 2 Starlink launches tomorrow. And then the Falcon 9 on the 16th is launching the second of the 2 Sentinel satellite series. And the Sentinel 6B will use a radar altimeter to bounce signals off the ocean surface and deliver continuity of ocean topography measurements. Very important mission. And it's designed through a partnership between NASA and the European Space Agency and the European Organization for the Exploration of Meteorological Studies. Coming up on the 18th of November, we've got another Starlink launch. We've got a rideshare mission coming up on the 19th, again on a Falcon 9, launching dozens of CubeSats and other small spacecraft, and they're flying into a sun-synchronous orbit. Landing on, of course, I Still Love You. Then on the 19th or the 20th of November, we've got another Starlink, and there's an interesting first launch coming up from the company InnoSpace on the 22nd of November. They're launching their first hand-bit nano rocket out of, not quite sure where it's launching from. And it's carrying 8 payloads to an altitude of 300 kilometers. 5 satellites will be deployed and 3 experimental devices will remain fixed to the upper stage. And that's a collaboration between the Korea Aerospace Administration and the Brazilian Air Force. There's a Soyuz launch on the 27th of November, and they are launching astronauts to the ISS, led by Russian cosmonaut Sergei Kudshchenkov and joined by Sergei Mikhaev and NASA astronaut Christopher Williams. Second space flight for I'm not going to try and pronounce the name. Both Mikhaev and Williams. We've got a JAXA launch on December the 8th, launching a satellite, and that's it for this year. And I'm sure there will be Starlink launches in December, but nothing's been scheduled. And
I was messing about with something when you started that. Did you mention the Atlas launch later tonight?
Oh yes, that's right. There's an Atlas launch launching Viasat 3, and it's a communication satellite to provide download speeds of more than 100 megabits per second, and built by Viasat on Boeing 702 platform. And that's been scrubbed twice. So this is, again, like New Glenn, a third attempt tonight. And
so apparently they've had deployment confirmed.
Deployment of the satellites.
Yeah.
Great. There we are then. So the Escapades are on their way to L2, where they will stay for a year before coming back to the Earth and then whizzing off to Mars for this important mission to study the Martian magnetosphere. So we will draw things to a close. Congratulations, many congratulations to Blue Origin on joining the Reusable Rocket Club, and some great work there. It's a pity that video from the drone ship froze at an inopportune moment, but never mind. They've pulled something off that only SpaceX has managed up to now. Perfect flight from New Glenn. Everything went to plan, and it was great to see. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We do appreciate your company. Don't forget, we're back on Tuesday for our Tuesday live stream about Titan. And have a fantastic weekend. Look after each other.
Just before you go, Andy, did you see the little K9 thing come out on the ship?
Oh, look, yeah. Yes. Yeah. And the Di Burrito, thank you so much for your donation, sir. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much, Di Burrito.
Thank you very much indeed. And so there we are. So thank you for being with us. We will see you on Tuesdays. So from Daz and myself, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
And for those in the UK, batten down the hatches for Storm Claudia.
Oh, gosh. My